Hi guys, so I am really tired right now, and to be honest, I just didn't want to make a video, but
Oh, guten Abend, sehr geehrte Frau Nachbarin.
sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I agree. And I probably just lost all my French subscribers, but I couldn't resist. So the title of this video of yours is Je déteste les hommes. Let's see if you do.
I decided to talk about something that's related to feminism again. My last video was about feminism. Well, I'm not sure when this is gonna go up, so maybe not my last video, but at least the last video I uploaded as I'm speaking right now.
Hey guys, hey guys, I know I wanted to talk about a really serious issue today, but let me just totally not waste your time by showing you some worthless pictures of trees and plants and fucking flowers and shit. Oh yes, let's not talk about the subject immediately. Let's just dance around for hours here in the forests of fucking Bavaria.
It was about feminism. It was in French. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about something that's related to feminism, and that's...
You are repeating yourself. And I thought it was an English thing to never get to the point and always talk around the issue.
Something, it's like a big misconception that is awfully stupid when you think about it for a few seconds, but that's very predominant in like the anti-feminism or like the arguments against feminism that you can hear.
Oh, nice. I happen to be one of those people you are talking about. So, let's hear, please. Please tell me what you think that I supposedly said and what you think about what I supposedly said.
Do I hate men, and do feminists hate men? No, I mean, obviously the answer is no, and it's even surreal that I have to do such a video.
Shut the fuck up for a second!
It's a question that we get asked so frequently.
Oh my. I wonder why that could be.
While it comes from trolls.
You know, this is starting to turn into an almost cliché excuse. Not everyone who disagrees with you is automatically a troll. These days, everyone just seems to be throwing around the word troll willy-nilly to basically dismiss anyone who may disagree with them.
Sometimes when people who are obviously trying to make fun of the situation or,
And people say we Germans don't have a sense of humor.
trying to discredit our speech.
What?
Trying to discredit our speech.
Discredit our speech? One can't discredit speech. One discredits an argument. Free speech gives you the liberty to present your arguments. It does not give you some protective wall behind which you can hide and just ramble on about whatever you want. The very concept of free speech within an open society requires the option to challenge whatever you are saying. If you just talk on and on and on behind some protection from a challenge to your speech, to your opinions, you are no longer on the podium of participating in free speech within an open society. No, you are basically at that point walled in behind an ideological echo chamber. Besides, I don't know where this notion comes from that free speech somehow gives you some protective layer in which you can remain unchallenged. That is not the case. If you use your speech to make an argument, you should expect within the open forum to have your ideas challenged. Freedom of speech doesn't just give you the freedom to speak your mind, it also gives you the freedom to make a fool out of yourself.
I think it's also like, sometimes at least, I think it's also a very genuine question or interrogation or sort of doubt or sort of maybe worry that some people have.
Oh, thank you, Your Gracious Majesty, for taking time out of your busy schedule to think over how sincere we may be, we who, mere peasants, dare to oppose your opinions. Would thou like to have some grapes served on a silver platter whilst you ponder pompously over how much labour thou shalt invest into thinking over the sincerity of thou peasant critics?
They definitely see in feminist attitudes and feminist positions and speeches sometimes a bit of anti-manhood.
Didn't you previously wonder over where the attitude even came from?
Do I hate men, and do feminists hate men? No, I mean obviously the answer is no, and it's even surreal that I have to do such a video, but it's a question that we get asked so frequently.
You know, this is the big disadvantage that comes with talking around an issue, around and round and round, and never getting to the point. You end up looking like you have no clue what you're talking about, or as if you were intentionally trying to avoid the issue.
I cannot speak for every single feminist on the planet, but feminism is definitely not about hating men. Feminism helps men too, and I will probably do a video about that later at some point.
Oh, how generous of you. Now, where's the word but?
But even without getting into the specifics of that, feminism is about women.
Called it.
Mostly, in the sense that it's about giving the same rights to women, giving them the equality of rights.
So, let me get this straight. Feminism.
Feminism is about women.
But at the same time,
giving the same rights to women, giving them the equality of rights.
Don't you see the blatant contradiction inherent within that statement? You profess to be about one specific group, yet then proclaim to be about equality. How can giving to one group, and specifically focusing on one group above all others, be about equality? The very fact that you speak about equality after having said,
feminism is about women,
dismantles everything you previously said.
Giving them the same safety, the same opportunities, and the same freedom as men have.
If you would be talking about Saudi Arabia, I might listen and consider what you have to say. But since what you're talking about is the situation here in Europe itself, I can't help but fucking laugh you off. There are many issues worth campaigning for here, yet you choose a struggle that has been over for what? 60 years, 70 years, maybe even 80 years.
Is liberating them from a very patriarchal and oppressive society.
Oh yeah, the patriarchy. Look at that patriarchy under which I live. Here's a question that I always wanted to ask a third-wave feminist. What is the difference between the feminist concept of the patriarchy and the Nazi concept of international Jewry? Your entire ideological stance is built upon nothing more than a vapid and empty conspiracy theory in an attempt to explain away or even outright ignore the actual problems of the world rather than confronting them and the reasons for why they exist. You are campaigning for nothing more but your own ego, because you are nothing more but a professional activist with an authoritarian ideology built on lies.
And doing so, it also liberates men and frees men from many, many oppressions that they also have to face.
Feminism is about women.
It's it's not about hating men, it's not about bashing on men, it's not about attacking men, it's not about making men inferior to women.
Why the fuck do so many people believe that by repeating themselves, they somehow make the bullshit they spout more true? I am just going to edit out all the useless crap you speak from now on, as well as everything you repeat to condense this down a little bit.
It's never been about that, and it's never gonna be about that, hopefully.
This is also one of the most telling things you have said so far.
It's never been about that, and it's never gonna be about that, hopefully.
Because it shows that you are aware not just of the totalitarian potential and nature of your collectivist worldview, but also that you are aware of its faults and of the actions by the people advocating it.
They hate certain attitudes, they hate certain behaviors, certain learned and sort of taught behaviors.
So what? Learned and taught behaviors? Seriously, is this the best you can do in an attempt to convince me? I hate people who don't wash their hands after using the toilet. I don't go and build a fucking movement around it.
And values and concepts and notions, they are against some structures and patterns and systems, but they're not against men, because men are not inherently evil.
No, I'm sorry to disappoint my audience. This is not a red pill moment in which she suddenly realizes, oh my, all men are not evil. She follows her statement up with a condescending...
I mean, that would be stupid to think that.
And after that fucking condescending clip, I had enough. I decided to edit out all the repetitive crap completely and summarize her position into the small amount of phrases that I believe an argument should be, and which I believe beinhaltet. What's the fucking English word for beinhaltet? Oh yeah, contains the arguments that she intended to promote.
Feminism is not trying to put women against men. It is trying to accept differences between individuals, some of those differences being the result and the consequences of gender and of sex. And despite those differences, it is trying to create equality.
Do you even know what equality means here in our open and free societies in Europe? Equality means equal opportunity. It means having the same basic starting position as everyone else and having no institutions hinder what you can achieve. Everyone in our societies gets the same chance to start out from that very position. Meaning, for example, here where I live and where the education system is paid for by the taxpayer, that it doesn't matter if you're the kid of someone rich, poor, or whatever your origin may be. You, or whatever you may have dangling or not dangling between your legs. You all get to start into your life through the same education system as a basis. You get the same starting position, and you will have to achieve the rest of what you want in life by your own merit. This entire concept of being able to achieve through one's own merit and work is what you, however, seek to undermine.
If you think that's about it, and if you're a man, you're probably just very scared to lose your privileges. Which is understandable because you've been used to living a life of privileges, especially if you're a white, cis, straight male.
Privilege? I cleaned toilets for 4 years of my life, and yes, I spent those 4 years of my life at the bottom of the social food chain. So please explain to me what my supposed male white privilege was worth during that time. How much does a fucking cock protect someone from poverty or despair? Your entire ideological mind map is built around the idea of judging people not by their merit or what they have achieved or done, but by superficial traits that none of them have any control over whatsoever.
And once again, I'm not hating on you because you're white, because you're cis, and because you're straight. Like,
oh, how fucking generous of you. You're going to judge me solely on the basis of superficial things such as the color of my skin, my sexual preferences, and my gender. But it isn't hate. It's just the way it is according to your worldview. I fucking love this clip of yours in which you said that this attitude of, oh yeah, I do that, but I don't hate you because it is coherent with my worldview for the greater good. Because it gave me somewhat of a déjà vu. Some time ago I read the confession of the SS commandant of the concentration camp Auschwitz, Rudolf Höss, in which he writes about how he considered everything that he did to be okay because it was for the greater good. This, which was summarized by Hannah Arendt as the banality of evil, is why your ideological doctrine and all that you stand for is inherently evil and inhumane. Because the basis of your ideological doctrine is solely based on an idea that judges human beings on the basis of things they have no control over. It judges human beings purely on the basis of what they inherently are, and not on the basis of what they do and who they are and what they think. It is a line of thinking in collectives that robs human beings of their identity and reduces them to nothing more than mere numbers. How fucking out of touch must you be to essentially go up to another human being and tell him, hey, I know little about you, but I already know that you are inherently bound to being this, and that not because of what you do, but because of what you are. I like to call your third wave feminism Dachau feminism, and I think it is fitting, mainly because when you visit Dachau, one of the first things you will see is this poster of the categorizations that were given to prisoners by the SS in the process of robbing them of their identity and shaping a new, hollow, statistical identity for them. You speak of equality, but the only thing you are actually working on to make an equality in which everyone is nothing more than a mere statistic. How about you do yourself a favor, sit back and listen to the language that you use to describe me.
and you're not part of the issue because you're a white man. You're not part of the issue because you're a cis man. You're not part of the issue because you're a man. You are part of the issue if you are someone that's not acknowledging the issue. You're part of the issue no matter your gender, no matter your color, no matter your sexuality, if you're not acknowledging the issue of sexism and misogyny.
You hear that? You describe me as part of an issue. I'm not just part of an issue because of something I have done or what I do or what I think or believe in. When confronting opposing ideas, one usually goes after the ideas of one's opponent. The problem with your Dachau feminism, however, is that you go after people themselves and reduce them to nothing more than mere statistics. I, as a man, refuse to be a statistic in whatever utopian game you are playing in your mind. And before we leave, I would like to show you another very telling clip by Frau Obersturmgruppenführer.
I'm not saying that you cannot have issues in your personal life. I'm not saying you cannot meet awful people in your life. I'm not saying you cannot have difficulties finding a job, or that you cannot have mental health issues, or that you cannot be taken for a fool by a woman. What I'm saying is, society is not against you. Society does not make laws against you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're unemployed, depressed, or got fucked over. It doesn't matter how miserable your living conditions may be, and it doesn't matter how hard you have to struggle in life. Because according to this twat here, the only thing that matters is her ideological apartheid system, which must be implemented at all costs and despite what people actually suffer from. This itself, this fucking attitude, reveals you as nothing more than a narcissistic, pampered, privileged little shit who ignores actual social problems because you are too pampered to even be aware of them. You are a professional activist who lives and feeds of misery and perpetuates misery. Auf Wiedersehen.